What's going on out there, YouTube fam? It's Samuel Leggett here representing TeamJVS, back here again for another review for a TV series that is back with the second season. I'm talking about HBO's Raised by Wolves. Now, HBO Max, when they premiered this, last year, I was like, really, Scott? Unknown cast, how much of this do I actually really love? Then you get to the dynamics of mother and father and Campion being the last sixth born. And, then they're taking on a whole new group of children. And then you got the people that fall Saw, and then you got the atheists. You got people that are disguising themselves to be something they're not, that end up associated with everything's going on. And on top of that, these underlaying things on this island that are just unexplained. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are the scales? What are making these big holes? Like, what creatures are still here? Why is Saul's symbol connected to this planet? What was connected to the rock? How and what was crawling around trying to mimic certain people? It's just so many different things. It's like the show just ended on such a high note. I was like, I hope and pray to get second. And then they did get greenlit for a second season. So I'm about to break down for you guys the first 3 episodes in a non-spoiler way as best I can. So the episodes are, I think it's Raised by Wolves, Pentagram, and The Virtual Faith, I believe. And I'm gonna tell you off rip, this is awesome. It's very different. It's very different than the first season because so much history has happened. And I feel like if somebody tried to start this and kind of I don't know what's going on here, you owe it to yourself to start from the very beginning. This is a very good continued story. It's not necessarily a standalone, but it's very vastly different at the same time because now Mother has already given birth to 7, and of course 7 ended up being a serpent. And, we saw it fly away, literally, flying away. And I was like, everybody's done. Everybody's done. And I was kind of like, are they going to address that? Are they going to explain that? They definitely do between episodes 2 and 3, what's really going on with that. But even deeper than that, her strained relationship with them because she's no longer a necromancer. And, the children really don't know how to trust or perceive what she's even saying because she's still holding on a lot of secrets. And the funny thing about this show is the relationship between mother and father because they legit have a human relationship. I don't know how to put it. They doing such a great job with, executing how, 2 parents that are trying to navigate life for their children are coming at it completely different ways. The difference with this season now, and I'll tell you, is that, there was a child that was kind of born outside of father's control that he kind of was like, okay, I'll help you get through this birth. But, after that, we got to kind of let the chips fall where they may. But that on top of, her lying put a strain in their relationship. So it's almost as though father, even in this, regardless if the creature is, flying through the skies or not, he's having to reconcile that mother has ulterior motives. And on top of that, he's disconnected from this other child. The other kids, he kind of took the role and responsibility. But with this thing, he's having a real issue with it. And it's just crazy because they're robots, but there's so much humanity and reality when it comes to, the disconnect, when it comes to trying to be on the same page with the right one that you love and care about, but what does that do? I think there's even a line somewhere, it's love will get you killed. I'm not going to say who put that line out there. But Abubakar and Amanda are still crushing it as mother and father. Amanda, from a physicality standpoint, they have her doing a lot of leg work. It's really interesting. There's an interesting climbing sequence that she beasted out. But Abubakar, I feel like they're doing a lot with him on an emotional level. They're really utilizing father in this season, which I really love. The other thing is really weird is Campion. So he aged a little bit. Like he's going through a little bit of a growth spurt, and it shows. It's not too noticeable, but it's very different from like somebody like Paul. But it's funny because Campion, he is developing into something very different. Like, I mean, Mother's almost like literally prophesied, like, no, he is the person that will lead them, so to speak. And the prophecy is still impending because Paul perceives himself to be, the prophet or the person that, is going to do this. Marcus, who I'll talk about in a second, perceives himself to be, and as well as Campion. The funny thing is there's certain caveats to that they keep adding on based on the text. It's just so freaking weird. But I do love what they're doing with Campion's humanity, his understanding, his perception. Like he really does feel like he's an adult, but he's still going through motions as a kid, which is really John Connor-esque, which I really love. Paul in this season, I was done with Paul, honestly, but they are finding things to do with him, and the actor does a really good job with it. The other kids in this are doing a pretty good job so far as well. Some of the kids less than others, because I'm like, y'all just need to fall back, bro. Chill out. Now Marcus, at this point in stage, Marcus was supposed to die, and Travis Fimmel is killing it this season because not only has he got this connection to Saul, but he's got some supernatural things going on as well. And they're just exploiting it with the new, I don't want to say like he's trying to build up a kind of an army, and there's certain things that he's trying to do. It feels like he's running. It feels like he's running from the family that he let go of. And at the same time, it's just funny because I really don't know where things are going to lie. Nama or Sue or Mary, I still really appreciate her character and kind of where they're taking her character, because now there is this entity that's kind of controlling how the other side of the planet is, and it's just really touch and go. It's almost like instead of before like braving the elements of survival, now they are exposed to a lot, but they're still underneath somebody's thumb. And what does that mean with these crazy androids and kids? They're not gonna just let that happen. And Marcus sure as heck. But I do think that this is a really good start to the season. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen next. This is debuting on February 3rd, the first 3 episodes on HBO Max. I believe what they're gonna try to do is release, I don't know for sure if they're gonna do like 2 episodes each week or 3 episodes, but I do know that the first 3 episodes are gonna be released out February 3rd. I'd rate this at a 9 out of 10. I really feel like it hadn't missed a step. There are certain things that I wish the intensity would kind of build up, but there are enough things that this makes for a well-rounded season that I can't perceive where it's going to go, but I really am loving it. I love the choreography. I love the film work. Some stuff with the VFX seemed like it was a little touch and go. I feel like the VFX was a little bit more sharper in the first season. But I do think there's so much that's going on with the story that it doesn't even really matter to me. And I'm curious to see how this is all going to pan out. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this review. Make sure you go and check out Raised by Wolves on HBO Max, February 3rd. Like, subscribe, hit that bell button. Peace, guys.